Good deal. Well, I'll tell you what, let's get this show on and started. Thank you all for tuning into The Divide with Marcus C. Williams. We are here in your ear, having the conversations that you need to hear. We are the number one conservative talk show in upstate New York. Let's make it all of New York. Tell your friends to tune in, tell your friends to subscribe, tell everybody and anybody. Now, please make sure if you're watching us online that you share this out. If you're watching us on X, share this out. It only takes 2 seconds to retweet and it doesn't cost you a heartbeat. So if you're on Facebook, share it to your groups, your friends, your family, your page, everybody else's page. We've got a lot of stuff going on all over the world, but I want to start off with some local things here. So locally, where I live in upstate New York, in Rochester, New York, don't let North Country catch me saying that it's upstate New York, right? Because they're like, you're not upstate New York, you're Western New York or Finger Lakes. Anyway, whatever they got to say. But here in Rochester, we've had a number of issues with housing. And I think that that's something important that we have a conversation about, because it seems as though our elected officials don't want to address the issues that we have with a number of elders getting kicked out of their homes. And it's very disappointing. You figure, hey, if the elderly are supposed to be one of the most important group, the most at-risk group of everything, right? Financial hardship, homelessness, all of these things, you would think that our elders would be able to get adequate services. But where I live, a number of different places where the state government has worked with different housing authorities and different housing groups, they're kicking elders out of their homes. And you might say, well, Marcus, that's crazy. How could they be doing that? Well, your question is as good as mine, because apparently, according to the state, the money went out to pay for these, you know? So if the money went out for them to pay for the actual services and the housing for them, how come the housing money didn't make it to the actual people? You guys, I honestly don't know. And there should be some sort of an investigation into that, but nothing is being done. And I couldn't tell you why. It's honestly very frustrating. But I've got some very interesting thoughts on why that may be. For years, I've been working on raising the alarm here in Rochester over the Rochester Housing Authority, not specifically them themselves, even though they've had their own issues. One of my previous, city council quadrant person, Adam McFadden, had a group called Quad A, him and his homeboy, George Moses, and I'm sure it was other people, but they never got indicted over it, were stealing money from the poor people and the kids that they were supposed to be putting housing money aside for. Crazy madness. And now he works at the county. You got to make that make sense to me, because that don't make sense at all. You know what I'm saying? That seems like some serious nepotism right there, or cronyism. I don't even know what you would call it, but it don't seem right after you stealing money from the most at-risk people to get into a position with the county. That sounds wrong. But anyway, that being aside, that's just an example of some of the interesting things that have been going on at RHA. So what's going on at RHA now? Nobody knows. So I've talked about the issues with the money for the housing projects that they're supposed to be, I guess, giving to the housing projects or receiving from these people that are getting money from the state, which honestly, that doesn't make much sense to me, because if you're getting money, right, why doesn't the money go directly to the people that it's supposed to go to? And I'm not talking about it going to the individual elders that are in these different housing complexes. I'm talking about if RHA owns a housing complex, how come the money's not going to them? If it's supposed to go to a property management firm, how come the money's not going directly to them? How come there are these third parties that are getting money from the state instead of the money going directly to the people who need it most? Can somebody make this make sense? Because somewhere what's happened is there has been a grave disconnect between the money leaving the state and going to some third party agency to it not getting to RHA and these other housing providers. Somebody make that make sense to me. Why do we have these middlemen? What is going on here? How come these people are now being kicked out of their apartments? And people will tell you, oh, no, they're not getting kicked out of their apartments. That's not happening. They're just being rehoused. Rehoused? You rehousing people that lived in somewhere for a decade? Are you being serious right now? You're rehousing elders and putting them out of their homes because somebody else stole money that should have been there for all intents and purposes? How does that happen? There needs to be an investigation into this. But none of our city council or our county ledge people are saying anything about that. So I'll start off from the beginning and I'll catch you guys up real quick. It started a couple of months ago. We had two different housing projects, one right after the other. One was the housing project on Danforth Towers, one of them. And then it was another housing project over, what's that called over there? It's slipping my mind, but if you remember the name of it, drop a comment and I'll try to pop it up on the screen. But anyway, so there was this other housing project. Why is it slipping my mind? And I go over there frequently. My friend lives there. It's slipping my mind. Anyway, it doesn't matter. So there's this other housing project also, and all of a sudden, bing, bang, boom, these people are being pushed out of their homes, right? Well, why is that? Who knows? Apparently nobody knows. And that's a scary thing to me, right? Because shouldn't there be some sort of safeguard in place so this type of stuff doesn't happen? I mean, that would just seem like it would make sense. Shouldn't it be oversight? And apparently the money that was missing that was supposed to go for these elders is millions of dollars. Like, it's not a couple $100. It's not a few $1,000s. It's not even $10,000, $20,000. We're talking about millions of dollars, hundreds of thousands of dollars being stolen from our elders. And then people are like, oh, Marcus, don't say that the money is stolen or whatever. Did it get where it was supposed to go? No. So money just evaporates into thin air now? That's what happened? You give it to one person to give it to the other person if it didn't get to that person. Clearly the other person stole it, or it got stolen, or it got lost. Now, I don't know how you lose all that much money and nobody knows about it until all of a sudden, after months later, now you're kicking elders out of their housing. Make that make sense to me. Now, you would think that after that happened with those two apartments, it would be, oh, well, let's look into it. Let's get the county to look into it. Let's get the city to look into it, because clearly the state issued the money and the state can't be held accountable for themselves because they couldn't even find their toes if they were in their own shoes attached to their own feet. You understand what I'm saying? Like, this is serious. This is very, very serious. So then all of a sudden, here goes another housing complex for the elders in Fairport. Now, this one isn't administered by Rochester Housing Authority. It's administered by somebody else. I'm not quite sure who. But now all of a sudden, a similar thing is happening there, where the money didn't get to the housing people that it was supposed to get to when the state sent the money out. Again, now we're up to a couple million of dollars because we got those three housing complexes. Now we're talking about now we're talking about millions of dollars, you guys. Then I just read yesterday in a newspaper, somewhere in Parrington is now kicking out the elders, excuse me, not kicking out, what are they calling? Rehousing. Well, why do they have to be rehoused? If you got the money to rehouse them, you got the money to keep them where they are. These are elders. They should not be being forced to move. Oh, Marcus, they're not being forced to move. They just have to move because they didn't have the money for it. So now we're putting them somewhere else. That sounds like kicking the can to me. It sounds like nothing's really being done. And it sounds like a setup. Now, if you look at some of these housing complexes and stuff like that, they're people that are in budget programs. And the budget programs are not paying extra, what would you call it? They're not paying market rate, right? So they can charge more if they get their people out of there or whatever the case is. And why do they want to do that? Because they don't actually care about our elders. They're trying to replace them with people that will pay more. Maybe those people too are also elders, but it's not the ones that are in there now. And then if you look at some of the ones that were moved from the city, they're sending them out to places like Hilton, Hamlin, that's mad far away, right? And nothing's out there. I don't know if you guys ever been to Hamlin. It's nice and all, but there's nothing out there. There's nothing out there. If you guys want to be part of the conversation, please hit like, hit the share button, and definitely drop a comment. I'll do my best to pop your comments up on the screen if you're following us online. If you're watching us on X, make sure you hit the retweet button. It don't cost you nothing. And if you're on Facebook, hit the share button, okay? The more likes and the more comments that we have, the more the message gets out there and the more people can hear. So do that real quick. Take 2 seconds. It don't cost you nothing. Do that for me. So as we go along with this conversation, now you might ask yourself, Marcus, well, there should be an investigation into that. I would think so too. But there's no investigation being done. Our elders are suffering and now they're pushing them out to other places. Make it make sense to me. Where is city council on this issue? Why isn't city council demanding that there's an investigation done? Why aren't they doing their own investigation? Shouldn't corporate counsel be getting involved? It sounds like somebody might need a lawsuit there. Like there needs to be a firm investigation into that. And then again, if the money's supposed to come from the state to RHA or to these other housing providers through a third party, which again, that doesn't make any sense to me. Okay. Why isn't that happening? Where was the breakdown? Are these people from this third party going to jail? I don't see nothing. I don't even see a state level investigation into these people. Makes you wonder where the money went, right? Drop a comment if you want to be part of this conversation. Because it seems like, and I hate to use the C word, but it seems like corruption. It seems like it looks improprietous. I don't even know if that's how you would say that in that phrasing, but it is today. Improprietous. That's a new word for y'all. Okay, we just made it up today. It looks like there's been impropriety. For real, for real. Where did the money go? Money just disappear and poof into the world. You understand? I'm saying tens of millions of dollars. And there's no oversight for this. Like, now here's my concern, right? My biggest concern is this. If RHA, and this is just an example, right? RHA said this had been going on for months. For months that they hadn't been paid. I can't remember exactly how many months or whatever the case was, but it was months on months. It was like 4, 5, 6 months, something like that. Something crazy, something real out of the way. So the question is, you don't have flags in your system to show you that millions of dollars haven't been, hundreds of thousands of dollars haven't been paid to you? Come on, what are we doing? What are we doing? What are we? I understand. I'm just asking, at what point do you get a flag in your system that people in one particular apartment complex all aren't paying their portion, that are actually in a program that is supposed to pay an apportioned amount of money. Now, where's the money? This is our taxpayer money. This is money that's coming from the state. Our elders are getting removed from their housing. They're moving them out. Then at Danforth Towers, they said, oh, we're not moving them out. And then all of a sudden they're like, oh yeah, everybody's got to get moved out because there are health issues on this floor, this one floor where all of the people are living that are in this one program that haven't paid in this one program. All of the sudden, that sounds kind of crazy to me, especially come to find out that y'all just did some inspections there some months ago. So all of the sudden now there's a health, well, what's the health risk? What's the issue? Is there no issue in the rest of the building that you have to kick everybody out for? Like it's just one floor, one isolated floor. The floor just so happens to be that one floor that's caught up in this scandal magically. How does that work? Make it make sense to me, y'all. Hit the like button, hit the share button, hit a heart, drop a heart. Even if you guys aren't going to comment like that, just drop a comment in the comments with a thumbs up or a, hey, I'm listening, or an American flag. Show me some love because I love y'all. Now, let's get into some other stuff. You know, we just had a very serious election here, and I'm running for city council this November. I'll be on the ballot on the conservative line, and anybody can vote for me, no matter whether they're Democrat, Independent, Republican, whatever. It doesn't matter. You can all vote for me. But here's the deal. Very few people came out and voted. Now, why would you see that as being an issue? Well, it's very simple. We got like less than 10% of the people deciding what all the elections are and who gets in what offices. That's a very strong concern. That's a very strong concern. It baffles me, but it also doesn't, because I'm fed up. I'm fed up because nobody seems to be doing anything to really push the needle to make any real change or any real effort to do something different. We've seen a number of issues that have been happening for years and even decades. Now, let me put this into perspective where you guys are if you're not here with me. So in my city for 58 years, it's been completely run by Democrats. Let me tell you this. It's been run on the school board, all Democrats, and this is for almost 60 years, 58 years. All Democrats on the school board, all Democrats on the city court judgeships, all Democrats on the city council, all Democrats in the mayor's office. For 60 years, 58 years, for 60 years, all completely run by Democrats. Not one Republican in office, but we've got one of the highest poverty rates in the nation. We've got one of the lowest school proficiency rates in the nation. We've got one of the highest youth homelessness rates in the nation. And we've got a very high per capita missing youth ratio. And we can't even talk about that, but that makes too much like right. So why are none of these issues getting addressed? These are things that you have to ask yourself. And if the Democrats are the answer for 60 years they've been in office, how come it's not solved yet? Things have only got worse under their leadership. Now, that's not a slam against people who are registered Democrats, but that goes to show you, look at these Democrat elected officials. No matter who's in office, they might change the nameplate, but the party still owns the office and they're not doing right by you. That's it. Boom. That's it. It is what it is. That's a fact. So I encourage you this year in November, shameless plug, vote Marcus C. Williams for Rochester City Council, November 4th. Okay. And if you want to pitch in or volunteer or donate, go to my website, marcus4rochester.com. That's marcus4rochester.com if you want to pitch in or learn more about my campaign and help me get the message out. But going back to our city council and people not voting, people are so sick and tired of being sick and tired. Nobody wants to get out and vote. And it's sad, right? It's very sad. But they're like, nothing changes. Nothing I do matters when it comes to voting. And that's not true, you guys. Your vote desperately matters now more than ever. I'll tell you this. On the election cycle for the city council and the primaries this year for the Democrats, an open socialist won the most votes. Why is that? Not because they're the most popular, but because their people were the only ones to galvanize to get out to vote for her. That's a problem. That's a problem. An open socialist. Now, here's the deal, right? All things being equal, if somebody's new in their office, I'm like, okay, well, whatever, you know, they're in office. Let's see what they do, right? But this lady's been in office for 4 years. For 4 years. And she hasn't done a lick of spit. Not a lick of spit. Where is the legislation? Where is the policy? Everything that she's supported, I'm using air quotes, supported, okay? You got to really wonder if she actually supported it or not, or if it just sounded good and fit a way for her to try to push her agenda. Hey, you know, but asking serious questions are too much like right. But anyway, the only real things that have been pushed have been things like the, what do you call it? The, oh my goodness, housing, what is it called? Anyway, the, what is it? What is it called? It's slipping my mind, but essentially good cause eviction. That's what it is. But the state already has good cause eviction. The state's been pushing that in the state assembly for some time, right? And they're pushing good cause eviction in Rochester, in our city, like it's a solution. It's not a solution. It's a lie. Well, Marcus, if good cause eviction is supposed to be good for us, it's going to help a lot of people. No, it won't. No, it won't. It'll help like 5, maybe to 10%. And I don't even think it's going to break 10% of the people that are getting evicted from their homes. Like, these are the important conversations that we have to have, but nobody wants to have those conversations because they're too much like right. Good cause eviction is a bad thing that they're dressing up. But what do you call it? Putting lipstick on the pig. Like, that doesn't solve the issue of continued raising rents. You know, like if you wanted to actually address the raising rents, why would you push that instead of maybe promoting more home ownership? How about that? Maybe promoting actual You know, they try to say, oh, well, let's put in rent control. That's another disaster waiting to happen. We've seen it be disastrous in New York City. We've got whole buildings, 50 units in New York City, multiple buildings on one block, all empty because they're rent control. So the people would rather let it languish than it actually go out to rent for cheap, which will be less than the cost where they can make money and not enough cost to keep the repairs up. But that's in New York City, right? That's our sister city. That's where they're getting all of this concept of neo-socialist, give the government more power over everything type of nonsense, right? That's where it's being pushed from. But it's failed in New York City. It's failed in New York City. It's failed in San Francisco. Again, dozens and dozens of houses in the same area, all vacant because of rent controls. Because they can't put anybody in there. And this isn't me advocating for them to raise the rent. Don't get it twisted. I think the rent's too damn high, excuse my language, but that's what it is, okay? But the fact of the matter is rent control is not the solution to it. The number one issue that we have in our area is them marketing our area to bring people in from the four corners of the world to actually increase the cost of housing here for the actual Rochesterians. If they would focus on empowering Rochesterians to actually get housing and to actually own homes, we wouldn't have that issue. I see somebody popped in here. Hey, Snow, I see you. Thank you for popping in. If you guys are watching right now online, please hit the thumbs up, hit the heart button, drop a little comment, say, hey, I'm watching, say, I love you, say whatever you got to say. Drop a flag in the comments, drop a thumbs up in the comments, whatever you got, let me know you're watching, all right? And if you're on X, make sure you do the same and hit the retweet button. It don't cost you nothing. All right, so as we continue, I got to blow my nose. Excuse me, it's dusty in here. But anyway, talking about this issue with the housing, you'd think that they would actually do something to make it so that the housing was more affordable, like stop marketing our city as the bestest place in the whole world to be, and everybody that's not from here should move here. Like, are you kidding me? Where are the jobs? Where are the jobs? You're trying to market everybody to come here. Do you know in the city of Rochester, they were giving $15,000 for anybody to move to Rochester, and they'll give you $15,000 if you're working remotely, not even working a job in our community. If you're working remotely, they give you $15,000. That's retarded, okay? Are you playing in our face or what? You give it out here giving everybody that's working $15,000 that already lives here? You giving small business owners that are employing people here $15,000? What are you doing? You're not doing that for us. Why are you doing it for other people? Come on now, make it make sense. Make it make sense. So you know who passed that? Who's apportioning that money? She is. Stanley Martin. She's okay with that. Why is that okay for them, Stanley? Okay? You want to talk all this other junk that, oh, you care about the people. You don't care about nobody but yourself. A friend of mine that is considerably left, may they come over, okay? I think they're slowly starting to turn. But considerably left says that they deal with her on a regular basis, and she's got a whole nonprofit that does this in the community or whatever the case is. I said, I don't see this work being done, but regardless, that's not the point. The point is, what is she doing from her position, right? Because she's elected, she's in office. I don't care what she does in her free time, as long as it's not selling drugs in my neighborhood and community. You know what I'm saying? Or burning stuff on fire, which she has done that. This is not a new story. That's a story for another conversation. I didn't forget what she did. I remember, Stanley, that you were the person that promoted the violence and destruction of my neighborhood in 2020, okay, where they burnt down many businesses and destroyed many businesses in my business corridor and other Black business corridors across the city. Okay, I remember that. I'm never going to forget that. I'm never going to let that go. Okay, eventually there will be retribution for that. Okay, we can't let that type of stuff go. She cost many people their livelihoods and all types of stuff, and it's not okay. But back to what I'm saying is she's been in office for 4 years. What has been done? And this is the problem that we have on every single level of government, y'all. Every single level of government, okay? Once people are in office, you have to hold them accountable. They can't just tell you pretty stuff and whisper sugar into your ear and stuff like that. Like, no, they need to actually be doing stuff. The other issue that we have that's very big is people don't know what the various parts of government do. And I try to tell people all the time, the only thing that city council does, I had this conversation with some vets on a veterans issue the other day. The only thing that city council does is they apportion the budget and write the budget, and they make local legislation and policies. That's what they do. That's their job. So when we have an issue that's related to that, that's who we need to be addressing for that. But if we have an issue for, let's say, a departmental issue, we need to be going to the mayor. The mayor is in control of the departments here. That's how it works for the mayor. The mayor is essentially the chief executive of the city. He runs the different departments. City council is like the board of directors. They make all of the policies and stuff like that. Okay, that's that. And that's not a perfect analogy, but essentially that's how it works. So drop a comment, say hey, say what's up. I see another comment coming in here. Let's see. David says, hi, keep enlightening us on important topics. I appreciate you, David. I'm doing what I can to keep you guys up to date and up to speed on what's going on both here and across the world. Please, you guys, if you can, please donate to the show. We're working to raise $20 to $25 to $50 an episode so that we can pay for more airtime, because airtime's not free. And eventually, Lord willing, we start getting enough funds circulating in here and maybe more sponsors so we can add another day to our show. You can do it on Cash App, $MW Real, the number one. That's $MW Real 1 on Cash App. Or you can donate on PayPal or Venmo, and that's at Marcus C. Williams. Please donate today, whether it's $10, $25, $50, whatever you can do. All of it helps us get more airtime and get the word out to more people. So let's get back to this. And this is what the real issue is. If we are not taking our issues to the right level of government, we won't see the issues that we want to address. And that goes back to what I was saying. A lot of people right now are feeling like they never see the issues addressed, that they want to get addressed, and nothing ever changes. Well, it's not the problem that it can't change. It's one, a lot of these politicians don't care until it's election time. Then they try to act like, oh, well, we're doing something now. That's how we got the Police Accountability Board, which was a ridiculous thing. Now, that's not to say that the concept of holding the police accountable is ridiculous. It's just saying the implementation of the Police Accountability Board was a fiasco from the beginning, because all it was about currying votes. It wasn't about actual actionable items for the citizens to deliver what you're trying to tell them that you're going to give. You know what I'm saying? That's that type of stuff that's very, very frustrating. Very frustrating. And as we continue, I got to do this little spot real quick. Thank you for tuning into WRFZ 106.3. You're listening to The Divide with Marcus C. Williams. We're here from 2:30 to 4 p.m. every Monday. Make sure you tune in, hit like, hit share, hit subscribe, get this message out there. Hit retweet if you're on X. Okay, let's get back into it. Drop a comment. Okay, drop a comment. I'll pop your comment up. Whatever you can, it helps bolster the what do you call it? The algorithm. Let them know that you're listening and you're watching and that you like the show, and it'll get it out to more people. And that's what we need to do. So as we continue this conversation about getting the issues addressed by our local elected officials, it's only around election time that it really looks like they're doing anything. That's why we need people to come out and go to city school board meetings, to go to school district meetings. If you live in Rochester, please reach out to me. You can send me a text, 585-678-1011. That's 585-678-1011 if you want to get more involved, okay? Because we have to do this, and it's going to be up to the community together to get it done. They're clearly not serving us the way that we deserve. They don't really care. They care about themselves and their benefactors, while the rest of the community doesn't even have their issues addressed. You know, and this goes into other issues, but I want to come back to this momentarily. I want to cover some other stuff that's going on across the world right now. Now, there was an issue in Texas where there was a crazy, crazy, crazy storm, right? I don't even know if you call it a storm, right? Because the rain was weird. The areas that got hit were weird. And according to all of the meteorologists, that wasn't supposed to happen. Now, I'm not one of those people that says, yes, believe all meteorologists. I'm one of those people like, if if they tell you it's not going to rain, bring an umbrella and a pair of mucklucks, okay? Like, it's serious, okay? But the fact that none of the meteorologists predicted this, NOAA didn't predict this was going to happen, that all of this rain was going to hit at one time to cause this to happen, we need to have a serious conversation about what's going on. And I know this is going to be a tough conversation for some of you, but I encourage you, don't believe me because I'm saying it. Believe me because I'm telling you, and go look it up. So there's weather modification programs all across our nation, especially in Texas, especially in that area, automatically, okay, automatically where it happened. Come on now. That's automatic and magically at the same time, okay? Like, how did it happen and none of the rain systems looked like that was going to happen? All of a sudden, just magic? Nah. That's not how rain happens. That's not how storm systems form. The same thing that happened in North Carolina. You know, I know everybody doesn't like Marjorie Taylor Greene, but every now and then she'll hit on something right on point. She just, I don't know whether it was the day of or just before, she introduced a bill to stop weather modification in the atmosphere. I said, that's fantastic. I hope people support that bill. And then all of a sudden, they done had a crazy, crazy magical storm down there in Texas. I was watching a video a couple weeks ago about this guy that owns this company that does weather modification. And they were talking about, oh yeah, we have drones. We use, how did he say it? He said basically they use drones and they use aircraft to spray the atmosphere with what was it, silver nitrate, I believe it was silver nitrate or silver something. So yeah, I'm pretty sure it was silver nitrate, but it doesn't matter. They spray the atmosphere to try to increase the amount of condensation that pools in that area to create more rain. And they do this allegedly because it's not raining enough, right? Now, okay, that sounds good, but if you're trying to make more rain, that means that hinders rain from going in other places and the atmosphere from doing what it's supposed to do. So really, you're messing something else up somewhere else down the chain that you're trying to say is helping right now an immediate area. But this is what happens. This is this issue with delayed gratification that we have in our society now. Everybody wants a solution now. But now is not always the best solution. And doing stuff to the environment has never been the key to actually seeing positive results in human history, right? Like, we've seen this play before. It never ends well. And now when we look into it, if you look into the weather modification and stuff like this, they've been doing it since 1943. They've got patents in the office of Congress, in the patent office, okay, Library of Congress. You can go look up that they've been doing this stuff since 1943 on the books. The military's been doing it. They had the Department of, oh my goodness. There's a department in Texas. I don't know if they still have it, but they had it at least up to last year. And essentially, they're the Department for Weather Modification. Like, they have an actual department that does that. Florida just passed the bill the other day where they said that they're preventing any weather modification where they are. And that's very serious because we don't want that in our atmosphere. And it goes along with the fact that people like Bill Gates are like, yeah, we're going to block out the sun. Now, it's crazy because the guy that I told you does the weather modification, okay, and I was watching the interview with him, he was saying, well, we do the cloud seeding and the stuff like that, but we don't agree with the people that are trying to block out the sun because that is something that we don't have a lot of information on or whatever, and we don't know if it'll work very good or whatever, what it'll do and what its effects are to the environment and all of this and all of that. He was saying that, and he's already playing in the atmosphere like he ain't got no business. So that was very interesting to me. But we know as a fact, and again, don't believe me because I'm saying it, believe me because I'm telling you, and go look it up. So in England, they've already passed a bill a couple years ago, maybe 2 years now, maybe a year and a half, where they can actually go out and they can do this weather modification on a large scale. China's experimenting with it. It's crazy that we just had that crazy torrential rainstorm when China just released documentation saying that they have an army of drones that can do weather modification over an area of over, I'm trying to figure out my conversions here, but it's like over 500 square miles, right? Like a 500 square mile range that China has enough drones that they can do in their program to do that. It's crazy to me. It's crazy to me. I see we got a couple of comments here. Let's pop some of these comments up. Dave, I see you. And David, I see you too. David, let's see what you got. David says, I'm Jeffrey McClaris, brother. He knows you. Oh, David, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Tell him, send my love. I love you guys. I appreciate you, David. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, let's see. We got another comment. That was David. Now we got Dave. Dave, thank you for tuning in. Dave says 10/25/2000. The Gone Red Alert 2 was released. On one of the super weapons was weather machine the US faction could research. So is that a game, David? That's a game? David says that's a game. So he says that's a game. But yeah, that's a video game. You know how they talk about predictive, what is it called? Predictive programming. That's what it is. It's already in existence. It's been in existence. And it's crazy because going back to the testimony of the guy that does the weather modification, I wish I could remember his name. He was talking about how they use the stuff that they spray in the air with radar, combined with radar. Excuse me, combined with radar? He said it was combined with radar to make it rain. That was crazy to me. Because a lot of us already had that thought that they were using the radar signals to increase the serious so-called natural issues. But he came out and said, yeah, that's what we do. Now we have solid proof that this is what these people are doing. And I'm not saying that they're bad as individuals, but if this is a private company doing this, how many more could benefit if there were natural disasters? How many more could be able to use it if that's one private company? And that's not even like a DARPA company. DARPA is like the private defense secret black box projects that the government and the military have. So that's not even like a DARPA program. You understand? These are live, active, commercialized. See, that's the problem. They're commercialized. So if that's what we have commercially available, imagine what we have on the military level. So that's very, very serious. If you guys have any comments or just want to say hey, or say, hey, I'm watching, put a thumbs up or a wave or drop any type of comment in the comments, and I'll do my best to pop it up on the screen, join the conversation. Let's get into it together. So this is very interesting and concerning because I'm telling you now, and you guys can, again, don't believe me because I'm saying it, believe me because I'm telling you. In the future, everything is going to be about water. Everything is about water right now, but most people don't realize that that's the main driving factor about everything that's going on in the world, okay? And I think I've done a show on that before previously. If not, we'll do one in the future. But if we have issues with the environment that look like sudden catastrophic natural disasters, you see a whole bunch of people pop out of the woodwork. Oh, it's climate change. Oh, it's climate change. Climate don't do that. Hurricanes don't form inland in the middle of the mountains. That's not how hurricanes form. They need moisture. They need high humidity. They need wind to form. Like, are you serious? They need high pressure and low pressure to come together at the same time. Like, are we being serious? We're not being serious. But that's why more of us need to understand what's going on. And we have to be like, hey, this is an actual issue and we want it addressed. Again, going back to Bill Gates talking about he's going to block out the sun. Are you serious? This is the same person that said that we should cut down all of the trees and bury the trees so that we can sequester more carbon. Are you dumb? The trees pull the carbon dioxide out of the air. I thought you were telling me that carbon dioxide is bad. Which one is it? The trees are bad or the carbon dioxide is bad? Again, this is the same guy. These are real things. Don't believe me because I'm saying it. Go look it up. Believe me because I'm telling you. Okay, this is the problem. These people are saying these things out of their mouth and many people just aren't listening to them. And then when you try to share that information with other people to have real conversations with them, they're like, oh, no, that's not true. That doesn't exist. That's not happening. Are you serious? I'll give you a good example. I've been going back and forth all the time here in Rochester on two issues for years, two big issues, the water system and the water treatment system, okay, and the cameras that they keep putting up all across the county and across our city and trying to tell us it's to catch criminals, but they won't put any criminals in jail. Let's start with the water system. So apparently the EPA just came out and slapped the city and the county with a whole bunch of issues. Allegedly, it's from 1999. I'm telling you, I don't care what they say. They never fixed it from 1999. Because for years, I've been telling them, I said, we got these issues with the treatment plants. We got these issues with the lines. We've got issues with delivery service. And we can solve these issues if we actually look to address them ahead of time. Because I don't want us to end up like a Flint, Michigan. Now, we're not going to end up like a Flint, Michigan, because there were a number of other issues, but we can suffer a catastrophic failure in our water treatment. We've had a number of issues with water treatment systems in the Monroe County area because of too much rain. Far be it for me to say that I told you so, but I'm saying these are things that I brought attention to before. But people are like, that's not happening, that's not a thing. Well, clearly it is. Clearly it is. And then they're like, oh, well, our water is so awesome here. It's so great. The water is great here. It's fine. We don't have any problems. I said, okay, well, the water is so great compared to what? Compared to what the water is so great? And they'll say, oh, well, the water is so great compared to all of these terrible places. I don't want the water ranked on all of the terrible places. I want the water ranked on the best places. Who's got the best water and how do we compare to them? That's what I want it ranked on. Don't tell me we're the best of the worst. Like, that sounds crazy to me. And they'll say, oh, no, we're not the best of the worst. We're better. We're about a B or a C grade water quality or whatever the case is. They do it by these numbers that really don't make much sense, because they don't account for all of the different chemicals and stuff in the water. We have a ton of chemicals in the water. Let me tell you how much chemicals are in the water. In our city, Rochester, and in our county, we have a lake. The lake is Lake Ontario, right? So the Department of Environmental Services they issue warnings on how much fish you can eat out of the lake or whatever the case is. They said you can only eat one fish a year out of the lake. Out of the lake, you can only eat one fish a year. And just the other year, I think it was 4 or 5 years ago, they just changed it. Now you can eat 2 fish out of the lake. You mean you're drawing water from out of the lake and I can only eat 2 fishes out there? Well, Marcus, we get a lot of the water from the different what do you call it? Aquifers and water sources. We've got one that's the Hemlock, the Hemlock, what do you call it? Aquifer? I think it's an aquifer. The Hemlock Aquifer, or whatever the case is. Y'all know that's up here, what it is. Y'all look it up, you know what I'm talking about. Anyway, we sold off the water rights to that. And when we sold off the water, how do you sell off our water rights? How do you get like that? How does the city sell off our water rights? And that just baffled me. Like, we're going to need fresh water and you just over here selling off water rights. Are you daft? Like, does the brain, the thing between your 2 ears, not work the way it's supposed to? Like, people are always going to need to drink water. Hello. Water is a scarce resource. Scarce resource. It's not, but that's a whole separate conversation. But you know what I'm saying? We clearly can't treat the water that's coming from the lake, and you're going to sell off the water rights to the aquifer that we have and the pipelines to the water. Who's dumb? Because it ain't me. I would have never voted on that. Are you serious? But these are the serious conversations that we need to have. And it's not just happening where I live. It's all across New York State. It's all across the country. They are selling our, what do you call them? Reptarian? I believe it's reptarian. Maybe it's alloidial. I believe it's reptarian rights, though. But they're selling off all of our water rights. This is a very important conversation to have. And you can jump into the conversation, drop a comment, drop a like, hit a heart button, share this on your page, your friend's page, or anybody else's page that even if they don't like you, share it on definitely share it on their page if they don't like it. and get this message out so we can have real conversations. We need to have these real conversations about the water supply and how it's very important and it continues to go chronically unaddressed. And they're not preparing us for stuff that needs to be prepared for. Then we got Kathy Hochul, who is my governor. She's a piece of excrement. Okay, I can't deal with her at all because she sold off a ton of our water areas and our water rights in the states to private companies talking about, oh, we're protecting this land. We're protecting this water, so we're selling it off to private companies that can save it later and sell it back later. What? You're selling our state water rights and natural water rights and fresh water rights to private companies that are keeping it safe? Who's daft? Who? It's not me. Do you think that the thing between our ears isn't working? Like, ain't nobody that dumb. But they think that you won't know about it, and they think that you won't understand. It's so disgusting. It makes me want to spit. But these are the serious issues that we need to address. We need to address these issues because they're going on, and nobody's addressing them. Nobody's talking about them. And if we don't have these conversations, nobody will know. Then to go into the other issue that we were talking about, the replacement of the lead lines and stuff like that. I think we might have talked about this before, but they're replacing the lead lines here with plastic lines. Are you serious? You're replacing lead lines with plastic lines? Who's dumb? We know that microplastics get into everything. We know that heat, water, cold, all of this, for what do you call it? Friction, all of this wears down the plastic and puts microplastics into the water. We know that just running, they tell you, oh, don't drink out of the water bottles that are plastic too much because the water bottles end up putting plastic into your body. Now you don't fill the whole city with plastic pipes. You don't think that water is going to get plastic into everybody's body? Like, are we not having realistic conversations here? Like, that's what not galvanized steel. Now, I'm not saying galvanized steel is the answer. I'm just saying it's very clear that if we're replacing the lead pipes, plastic is not the answer. It's very clear. You know, what do they say? That each person consumes a credit card worth of plastic every year now? It's probably more than that because it's in your water, in your shower. This is why you should have whole house water filtration systems. I got something coming up for that. I'll share it with you next episode. But this is the issue. Like, that stuff goes through your skin. It goes through your pores. You drink it out of the sink. It goes in your body. Like, we're not being real and we're not having real serious conversations. If you want to be part of the conversation, drop a comment. Even if you don't really have much to say, just drop a thumbs up, a heart, a wave, or say, hey, I'm listening into the comment section, because it all helps kick the algorithm to get it out to more people. But this is the issue. They're replacing our lead system which has been working for decades, right? And they're replacing it with plastic. They didn't do galvanized steel. They didn't do iron or whatever the case is. I'm not saying that either of those are the answer, but I'm telling you for 100% fact, plastic is not. Here's something else I'll tell you. The lead pipes, I always wondered why lead pipes were an issue, right? So how has everybody been using lead pipes for thousands of years? The Romans used to use lead pipes. So for thousands of years, and people weren't just dropping dead or having aneurysms all the time because of drinking out of lead pipes. So I looked into it, and you guys can go look this up. This is on the NHI, the National Health Institute? Yeah, the NHI website. Okay, there's a study that they did with fluoridated water and lead. It says that if you are running fluoridated water through lead pipes, it adds to the accumulation of lead in the body, and it also knocks more lead off of the lead pipes to put it into the human body, and it adds to the calcification of muscle tissue and bone tissue. This is an actual study. This study is from about, I don't remember when it was from, but it's from years ago, right? So we've known this from like at least 20 years. I think it was maybe 10 to 15 years ago. I don't remember exactly, but go look it up. It's on there. It's on the NHI website. So this is a government website. You can read the report for yourself. Don't believe me because I'm saying it. Believe me because I'm telling you. Okay? So this is very, very important. And it said that essentially It's not the lead pipes that are the problem. It's the fluoridation in the water. And I'm like, well, hold up now. Lead poisoning has only really been an issue in the last couple of decades. Well, when did we start putting fluoride in the water? Ever since we started putting fluoride in the water, the uptick in lead issues has become greater and greater. So somebody's got to make that make sense to me. Then I have a better question, like that water goes back down the drain, and most of the water that goes down the drain here in our area goes right out into the lake. You know, they've got these signs up all around, be a H2O hero, don't pour antifreeze and stuff down the drain because it'll go right into the river and poison the river and poison the lake. Well, wait a second. So you mean that we're putting fluoride in the water for the people, allegedly, to help their teeth, whatever, we're not going to go into that. But what does that fluoride do to the fishes? What does that do to the phytoplankton and the zooplankton in the water? What does that do to the other animals in nature? Can we have an environmental impact study done on that? Do we have any studies done on that? Because I think we need to have studies done on that. Then they're like, oh, well, everything's fine with the water. It's clearly not. Because for the last few decades, as long as I can remember, maybe 15 years, okay, almost every year here, our lake has had these crazy algae blooms. Okay, well, why is it having these algae blooms in salmonella? Salmonella, right? Where's salmonella come from? Poop. You get salmonella from poop. Poop contamination makes salmonella. So wait a second. If we've got algae blooms and we got salmonella in the water, that means that poop is going into the water, in the lake. Hello. I'm just saying. I'm just giving you guys the information. It's your choice to do with it as you please. Okay? Like, salmonella comes from poop. Like, everybody knows that. Like, go look it up. Again, don't believe me because I'm saying it. Believe me because I'm telling you. Okay? Salmonella comes from poop. That's it. That's where it comes from. So we've got salmonella in the lake. You can't go in the lake. Okay? We got algae blooms in the lake. Well, what's making all the algae blooms grow? We've got a history of our area being contaminated by tons of industrial products because we've had Kodak and Xerox and massive manufacturing here for decades. And you mean to tell me that everything's fine? And they used to just dump the waste right in the lake. And you mean to tell me that everything's fine? No way. I don't know who you're selling that to, but I'm not buying. Sounds like a whole lie. You know, and these are the type of important conversations we need to have because that's not just happening here. We can talk about the issues in Jefferson County, not Rochester, but was it Tennessee, Alabama, one of those two. Okay, down there. We can talk about the water in other different places and the issues that they've had with various cross-contamination of chemicals from manufacturing points and other things like that. But we need to have these very serious conversations, and they're not being had. Hit the like button, hit the heart, and you guys, we are looking to raise between $25 and $50 an episode so we can get more airtime because airtime's not free. And if you are a company, you can also look to sponsor us. You can reach out, send me an email, Marcus@Marcus4Rochester.com, or you can give me a text, 585-678-1011. So you can donate on Cash App, $MW Real, the number 1, or you can do Venmo or PayPal, and that's at Marcus C. Williams. So let's get back into it, and let's talk about some other stuff that's going on worldwide. Today, Netanyahu is meeting with President Trump on some stuff to deal with the Houthis and Hamas and creating a actual peace deal there. I don't think anything's going to happen with the Houthis. They just dropped some bombs on them today. So that's probably not going to happen. But the Hamas people, I guess maybe something might happen there. They're in the middle of, non-direct talks in Doha right now. So we'll see if something happens there. But they're going to have a lunch today. So that may or may not have already happened. And I'm sure that they're going to have a good conversation about that. We'll see. I pray for peace in the Middle East. Also, return the Middle East to Christianity. Okay? You know, that's how I really feel. Don't ask me to get involved in the whole thing. Okay? But I hope that they bring peace over there because Trump has been working really hard. I know a lot of people don't like him, but these people out here that are protesting for Gaza and stuff like that and protesting for Iran, Trump has been the number one person trying to be like, we shouldn't go to war with Iran. We shouldn't go to war with Gaza. We shouldn't be letting the people that are dying there happen. It's terrible. The babies are being blown up. This is what he's saying out of his mouth. And it's like these crazy people that are pro-Palestine aren't even listening to him. You got the most powerful man in the world, okay, the president of the United States saying, I agree with you. I think that they shouldn't be bombing babies. I think we need to stop the dying. And you guys are out there protesting and mad at the orange man bad. How does that work? How does that work? I understand you don't like the orange man. That's fine. But if he's supporting what you're supporting, why are you not supporting him on that issue? And that's the serious concern and the serious conversation we need to have. The number one president in the world pushing for peace in the Middle East, pushing them to stop the war in Gaza, Donald J. Trump. Okay? And everybody hates him so bad that they won't even say, yeah, we agree with you, Trump, on this. Because if you agreed with Trump, maybe he could push Congress to do more about the issue and they can actually address the issue. Perish the thought. But this is the issue that we have, you know, and the Democrats, right? They've been saying, oh, we want to tax the rich more. We want to tax the rich more. Trump came on the TV a couple of weeks ago. Again, don't believe me because I'm saying it. Believe me because I'm telling you. Go look it up. Trump came on the TV a couple of weeks ago. He's like, yeah, I think we should raise the taxes on the rich. He said, I'd pay a lot more in taxes if I knew it was going to be able to be helpful to the people. He said that out his mouth. Okay, and he said, yeah, I think we should raise the taxes on the wealthy. And he said this on the TV. He said, but it's not that popular in Congress. He said this out of his mouth. Did any of the Democrats say, yeah, Trump, we support that? That's what we've been saying. We should charge the rich more money. Did not one of them, not Chuck Schumer, not Elizabeth Warren, who's been saying that for years, not Bernie Sanders, none of them came out in support of Trump talking about he wants to raise the taxes on the wealthy. How does that work, you guys? How does that work? He's saying what you guys support, and you don't even support that issue with him? Like, I understand that you don't like him. That's fine. You don't got to love him. You ain't got to be his best friend. You ain't got to go out with him on a dinner date. But if he is supporting the issue that you say that you care about so much, you should support him on that issue. You'd be like, yeah, I don't like that man, but I support that. Because maybe we could actually get done what you want to get done. If you're in alignment with what he's saying, you said you want to tax the rich. He wants to tax the rich. You said you want peace in Palestine and you want them to be able to have their own area. That's their own place. And Trump said he wants peace in Palestine. He wants them to have their own area. That's their own place. Y'all not listening because y'all deaf because you hate the orange man so bad. And again, that's fine if you don't like the orange man. Orange man bad, I get it. But when he is saying that he supports the issues that you're saying you support, you need to support those issues. Okay? Otherwise, it's just lip service. That's a big, big issue. That's a big, big issue. It's crazy to me. It's absolutely insane. You know, and I understand people don't like him. That's fine. But when he's supporting the issues that you say that you care about, hello. I mean, it seems simple to me. Drop a comment, drop a heart, hit the share button, get this message out to more people. We need to have more people being part of this conversation and hearing these conversations, okay? Drop a comment, say, hey, I'm listening, or give me a thumbs up, or whatever the case is. Let me know you're out there because it helps kick the algorithm to get it out to more people. So now we've got a number of other issues going on across the world right now. So apparently, the U.S. is going to remove HTS, which used to be part of ISIS, who is now taking over control in Syria and is slaughtering Christians. The U.S. is going to remove them from the list of foreign terrorist organizations. Absolutely not. I don't care if Trump had them in the White House. Absolutely not. They are terrorists that are over there massacring Christians. Ain't no way that you remove them off the terrorist group list when they are actively part of ISIS. No way. No way. And nobody that's Christian, I don't care how much you support Trump or don't support Trump, should support these people being taken off of the terrorist list. That's not cool. They've slaughtered, since the last couple of weeks they've been in power, they've slaughtered almost 30,000 Christians. We're going to talk about that. Have you seen that in the news? No. No. And speaking about the deaths of Christians, let's hop back over to the U.S. and go back to talk about Texas for a second. There was a all-girls Christian school camp there, and apparently the girls' camp got washed away, like 34 girls were missing or something like that. Terrible tragedy. But there were people online, and you can go see this stuff right now, that are like, oh, they're racist because they didn't have any black people there, and they didn't even have a token Asian there. And these are all these pictures from this camp, and they deserve what they get, and that's what they get because they're racist. I said, excuse me. Excuse me? That's a terrible thing to say. You believe that these little girls, right, deserve to die because you think that the camp is racist because they didn't have any black people there, or they didn't have any Asian people there? Let's be real. How many black people live in that area? I don't know, but I guarantee you it's not a lot. I guarantee you it's not a lot. You know what else I guarantee you? I guarantee you that a lot of black people in the area probably don't know about that camp. Now, I'm not defending them because maybe they might be, I don't know, maybe they might be exclusionistic. But I know camps that are all black. So explain it to me like I'm 5. You understand what I'm saying? So when I was going to summer camp when I was little, we had camps where there were like almost only black kids. Maybe we might have a Spanish kid or a mixed kid. You understand what I'm saying? Are those racist camps? How do you know that this is a racist camp? What do you have to justify that other than you didn't see any black people in pictures? Nobody's come to me with any evidence to actually say that. That's a terrible thing to say. How you get like that? How you get like that and then call yourself an American and say, because even if it is, right? Why would you put that on the children? Make it make sense. Make it make sense. And then it's like 70 other people died in the area. So is that because they're racist too? How does that even work? How can you say something like that? People are horrible out here, you guys. I don't know how they get like that. That's really, really jacked up. That's really, really jacked up. So it's sad. It's really, really, really sad. And I hope that those people come to Jesus, because we need to pray for them people out there saying crazy stuff like that on the internet. That's not right. That's not righteous. And that's downright demonic, honestly, for all intents and purposes. Now, as to another thing right there with that specific topic, pray for all of the people down there that are still missing. May they be found alive. I really hope so, that more of them are found alive. I hope and I pray. So another thing on an issue is, I didn't know that, what's the lady name? Naomi Yamasaki, the tennis player. Yeah, she was just at the, what is it? Omasaki. I think it's Omasaki. I don't want to say the lady's name wrong. Osaka. First off, I didn't know that she had a kid. I did not know that I didn't know that she had a child. So apparently she's playing tennis and she didn't win, right? And people are online. This is crazy to me, you guys. People are online attacking Naomi Osaka, talking about, oh, well, you didn't win because you had a baby. You should have had an abortion. Holy moly. How can you say something like that out your mouth? Like, who are these people? Somebody pray for these people, because they need Jesus, okay? They need a personal relationship with the Lord our Father himself, because these are monsters out there. How can you say that she should have aborted her child and that's the reason why she didn't win? Who knows why she didn't win? Maybe her shoelace was not tight. Maybe she didn't drink enough water. Maybe she was having a bad day. Maybe, I don't know what happened. Maybe she's on her period. Who knows? It could be any number of issues. Maybe the other players were just better at that time. They were playing on grass. Maybe she's not used to playing on grass. But you say that, oh, she should have had an abortion and she would have won if she didn't have a 2-year-old child? Monsters. Monsters walk among us, people. Monsters, real live monsters. How can these people be on the internet saying stuff like this, making videos about this? And they call this feminism and supporting females? What is that? That's not any of that. That's evil. That's absolutely evil and diabolical, you know? Hit the like button, hit the heart, drop a comment, be part of the conversation. I'll try to pop your comment up on screen. And even if you just want to say, hey, I'm listening or I'm watching, drop a thumbs up or say hey in the comments. Just say hey, even if you just say hey. Let me know you're watching or I'm watching. Drop an American flag or a heart or whatever. But that was crazy to me. I couldn't believe that people were out there saying that she should have had an abortion and it's because of her 2-year-old child. You don't know that lady. You don't know what's going on in her life. She's rich. I doubt that she don't have nobody to take care of her baby. You know what I'm saying? Most rich people are absent parents anyway. I'm not saying that that's her, but I am saying that I'm sure that that was not the number one issue with her in life. So also, I don't like to play tennis on grass either. That's crazy. Even though that's traditionally how you play it, you know? I'd need cleats if I was playing. Can you wear cleats if you play tennis on grass? I don't know. But let's jump into some more stuff in the US that's less evil, but also probably the same. So Elon Musk is saying that, oh, because of Trump's big, beautiful bill and how he's mad at that, which is suspect. I've been warning people about him from the beginning. Okay. First off, he's a South African billionaire with a family that's got ties to all types of shady business in South Africa. And his granddaddy was promoted technocracies and technocrats as being the officials who run everything instead of actually electing officials. And his daddy owns an emerald mine and other heavy industries in South Africa. And his mom is a crazy loon. No offense, but all offense. Like these people are monsters, right? Like, and these are the people who raised him, who he came up and under. So I don't expect him to be much different from the rest, right? Like what they say, the apple don't fall far from the tree. He can just hide it a little bit better. And honestly, he doesn't even really hide it. And I know a lot of people are infatuated with him right now. I'm telling you, that dude ain't good. Okay, go watch his speech to the what do you call it? Not the World Trade Conference. What's the other one? The World Economic Forum. Go watch his speech at the World Economic Forum a couple of years ago. Okay. He said, I'm not saying, and I'm paraphrasing, he said, I'm not saying like the rest of you are saying that we should kill all of the people off. We should just kill some of the people off and save some of the other ones because we're going to need a group of survivors just in case something else goes wrong. And I'm like, what? And he's talking about all the people on the earth because that's what they want to do. They out here talking about that they want to eliminate the carbon. You're the carbon that they want to eliminate. You got to understand what's really going on and what's being pushed. There are people that are far more evil and far more nefarious that walk this earth and walk this planet that are in very serious positions of power and finance. You got to understand they don't care about any of us. We're so far beneath them. Okay, if you're not part of one of their official bloodlines on the top of the podium, okay, they don't want nothing to do with you. They don't care nothing about you. And this is something serious we have to look into. But anyway, Elon Musk is like, oh, well, we're going to end and we're going to start a third party. We're going to call it the America Party. Is the America Party going to be like the National Party in South Africa? You guys, if you don't know what the National Party in South Africa is, essentially it's the National Socialist German Workers' Party, but for South Africa. Also look at all of the National Socialists that moved to South Africa after World War II and during World War II. Okay, like this is something that's very important that not enough people talk about. Look at what the National Party did in South Africa. Okay, again, this is who his people are. They're Mr. Mustachios. Okay, because apparently I can't say Mr. Mustachio's name or they'll pull my videos. So, but y'all know who Mr. Mustachio is. Okay, like this is the people that he comes from. There's no way. Y'all shouldn't trust him, not even a little bit. Okay, I'm telling you ahead of time. Don't say I didn't warn you. And again, don't believe me because I'm saying it. Go look it up and please watch his speech from the World Economic Forum from a couple years ago where he said that crazy stuff I just was talking about. Okay, like you guys have to read between the lines and actually listen to these people when they're talking. This is something very, very important. I've heard before that they have to tell you what they're going to do before they do it. That's how evil operates. So, I mean, they're out there telling you what's going on. So we need to really be paying attention to what's happening and what's being done. Now, with him forming this new America Party, I really hope that it's not like the National Party or like the National Socialist German Workers' Party. But I guarantee you that that's what it's going to do. I guarantee you it's going to push technocracy. I guarantee you it's going to push an agenda from a South African who's not even really American, who probably honestly shouldn't have been here to begin with because he is not on the right paperwork and went outside of his visa. Okay. Like, these are the conversations that we really need to have. Then all of his friends, the PayPal mafia, all of them people are doing real devious things in our country and sponsoring massive surveillance and trying to push us to digital currency. Look up Palantir, okay? And all of this other stuff. Also, maybe invest in Palantir because their stock is looking real good. I don't support nothing that they're doing, but there's a money-making opportunity there. Anyway, now Palantir is supposed to be modernizing the government and trying to integrate all of their software and stuff with the government. Now, the scariest part about Palantir is that they've got this massive algorithm and AI that does predictive analysis that essentially can predict everything about you, okay? And they want to create even further surveillance. So it's not good. It's not safe. I'm not for it. And that doesn't even go into Peter Thiel the way I want to, or David Sachs, right? Or any of the rest of them. And all of these people are South African, by the way. All of them are South African, just a matter of factly. Okay? There's a lot of misrepresentation going on. It's disgusting. It makes me want to spit. But here's the deal. We need to be having these important conversations. So if you can, please share this on your page, hit retweet. If you're watching us on X, it don't cost you nothing to retweet. Hit share it to a group, share it to your page, share it to your friend's page. There's a couple of other things that I want to try to get in. We've got about 10 minutes left on live on the air. I might continue a little bit after online, but let's try to get a couple of these other things in there. So there's a whole bunch of protests going on in Kenya right now. And I think that we need to be watching what's going on in Kenya because Kenya's got some very, very interesting things going on over there. And I don't think people are paying enough attention to that. And I'd really like to understand what happened to all of the Kenyan soldiers that were over in Haiti. I was talking to a Haitian friend of mine the other day, and they were like, yeah, man, they're not there to help anything. They're just there for money. Excuse me, I got to blow my nose. Yeah, my Haitian friend was like, they're not over there for nothing. They're not helping doing nothing. They're just there for money. And that's very, very, very concerning. So I don't know. But Kenya has a whole bunch of issues going on themselves. They've got issues with the, what do you call them people? Not Al-Shabaab. Is it Al-Shabaab over there? Might be Al-Shabaab. But they've got a whole bunch of issues with these Muslims over there trying to kill up all of these people that are Christian and kidnap all of these Christian girls. So right now, gangs are in Nairobi, in the capital city, and they're over there acting up. They're over there acting up. Essentially what it is that there's a quiet attempt to overthrow the government in Kenya. This is due to many factors that have been ongoing. I know there's some stuff that was going on with the gas prices and stuff. A lot of people weren't very happy about that, but there's other government issues that people aren't happy about. I don't know who's really pushing the whole situation over there, but that's something to keep in your hat. And I don't want to go too deep into that because we only got a couple minutes left, and I want to cover a couple more things. So there's yeah. Oh, this is interesting. So JNIM, another one of these Al-Qaeda-based groups, okay, Muslim jihadist groups in West Africa, apparently is over there attacking many of the Christians over in West Africa. Also, this is a problem. Like, we really need to be mobilizing against these anti-Christian people. But for me, far too many Christians, instead of mobilizing against these anti-Christians that are over there killing off the Christians, are more in favor of supporting Israel than they are in supporting Christians. I didn't see any of that support for the Christians in Syria that just got mass martyred, tens of thousands of them. We're not seeing that support for the Kenyan Christians. We're not seeing the support for those in Mali or the Niger. Where's the support for those Christians? Those are Christians. You out here supporting other people that aren't Christians, that don't even like Jesus, that don't care about Jesus, that hate us, okay, that don't like our religion, that think that we're stupid and say that Jesus is in hell burning in a pile of poop. Like, are we serious? Like, this is what they believe. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't support them, but I'm saying if you support them, you should more so support Christians. Hello? Priorities, people. Priorities. And I feel the same exact way about these illegal aliens here. Y'all out here supporting illegal aliens more than you support American citizens. What is going on here? Should we not be supporting our citizens? Shouldn't our citizens take priority over people that have foreign countries that they can go back to? Americans don't have anywhere to go to. Again, back to the Christian aspect of things. We got Christians that are being martyred across the world. Why are we not supporting the Christians that are being martyred? Why are we not making strikes and attacks en masse on these people? Why are we not doing stuff about that? Why are we not funding the people to fight back against them? Why are we not doing that? But we're all in Israel's ear. Okay, we're all in their bank account. You understand what I'm saying? Like, we're Christians and y'all out here supporting them more than you support, because, and most of this is very important fact, because people be like, oh, anti-Semitic and stuff like that. See, most of these people that are in Israel and stuff like that, they don't practice Judaism. They don't. They're very far left. They believe in all that alphabetism. They believe in all of this crazy stuff, okay, that has got nothing to do with traditional Hebrew lineage, heritage, or culture. Okay, a very large number of them, you know, minus maybe a lot of the more serious ones, but it's a very large number of them. They are very leftist and liberal over there. And I use the neoliberal term, but not the old liberal, not the original meaning of liberal. You know, liberal means you're supposed to be able to listen to other people and work things out. But these new liberals don't want to listen to nobody about nothing, and they'll try to shut you down from your freedom of speech because they don't want to hear you. But these are the important things that are going on in the world. There's other stuff too, and we'll talk about it in another episode. So there's some stuff going on. Australia had this crazy lady that put mushrooms in her father-in-law, mother-in-law, and sister-in-law and brother-in-law's food, and tried to kill them because I guess she was estranged from her husband. I don't know about all of that, but that sounded crazy to me. That's why I don't eat mushrooms. I don't eat mushrooms, y'all. I don't. And that's one of the big reasons. Apparently, she put death cup mushrooms in their food. This is why I don't mess with that type of stuff. I am interested in a lot of what's going on in other places in the world. I did want to talk about South Korea and some of the stuff going on over there, especially after their recent election, but we don't have a lot of time for that left. So I'm going to say this in the last couple of minutes we got here. In America, if we're not focusing on Americans first and foremost, and we're thinking more about foreign nations, and we're thinking more about foreigners that are in our country, you are doing America a disservice. You're doing America a disservice. I don't understand how you can care about more other people than you could care about your own people. Like, these are important conversations we need to have. Back to my city, Rochester. We have far too many illegal aliens here. Far too many illegal aliens here. And then we got people protesting ICE and we hate ICE and all of this nonsense, and they don't want ICE here and they want them gone. But we have ICE is actually right now busting up a ring of human traffickers and drug traffickers, but we can't talk about that, and they don't want you to bring that up because it's Homeland Security investigations. It's not actual ICE, but that's a whole nother conversation. ICE is here and they are deporting people, but it's mostly the Homeland Security investigations that they're working with to get people that are human trafficking. Like, we have serious support them in addressing that issue. Do you know how many missing children there were that came across the border? They lost like what was it? It was something like almost 500,000 children, 431,000 children that they just could not account for during the Biden administration. 431,000 people, children, they couldn't account for them. What do you mean? Now, of course, DHS says that they found a lot of them or whatever the case. I don't believe them. I don't believe them at all. Not even a little bit. Because if you lost that many children, you're not about to find that many children. That's not how things work. But they were giving them to people that aren't their relatives. They were giving them to people that were registered child molesters and all types of crazy stuff. So we need to, but this goes to show you the amount of human trafficking that was going on that was completely under the radar that nobody would talk about. These are the important conversations we have to have. And this right here is my biggest pet peeve with the whole, oh, I don't believe in ICE and I don't think we should abolish ICE and all of this stuff, right? Okay, I hear you. But you guys are out here protesting in the street, tearing stuff up and acting a rabid fool. Well, if you care so much about these people, why are you not gathering together and helping them get their paperwork in order or sponsoring them so that they can come into the country legally and all of this stuff? If you really care about these illegal aliens, you should be helping them get their paperwork in order. You're like, oh, well, this guy was here for 20 years. Well, why weren't you helping him get his paperwork in order? All of the sudden you care. And that's the problem. All of the sudden. These people care at the last moment when there's nothing to do. And they only care up to the point where they can do as little amount as possible for these people to actually address their issue. Y'all out here tearing up stuff? How does that help? It doesn't help these people stay in this country. If anything, that galvanizes more people to be against illegal aliens. You understand what I'm saying? People that even might have supported say, hey, well, maybe we need to figure out a way to integrate them into society and get them more in line with stuff. But no, they don't do that. They don't help get lawyers to work on the documentation to help these people stay. Why is that? Because they don't really care. They don't. They say they care about illegal aliens, but they don't care about them. Because if they did, they'd sponsor them and help them get their paperwork in order to stay here. Even they'd create networks where they can go back to their own country. They can support them from here in their own country and then bring them back here legally. They've got the self-deportation thing. So let them self-deport, help sponsor them down there to get them back over here legally. Okay, there is a means and a ways to do it, but you don't want to do that. So you don't really want to help. So I want to thank you guys. If you're online, stay tuned. I'm going to keep going. But if you're listening to us on the radio, we got to get ready to cut out of here. So I appreciate you for tuning in to The Divide. This is WRFZ 106.3 Rochester Free Radio. And make sure you share this with your friends, your family, your enemies, and everybody. We are the #1 conservative talk show in Western New York. Let's make us #1 in the whole state. Share this on your friends. Share this with your enemies. Share this with the people down the street. Tell them to tune in on Mondays, every Monday, 2:30 to 4 p.m. and get this message out there. And if you're not online on our YouTube yet, go to the Marcus C. Williams channel and subscribe. All right, you guys be blessed and be well. And remember, stand up, speak up, and don't shut up. Take action. If you're online, we're going to continue for a couple moments here. All right, you guys, we're ending that off there. So, yeah, so this is a serious issue that we have. And I don't get it, you guys. If they claim that they care about these illegal aliens, why aren't they doing anything for them the way that they need? Help them get their paperwork and stuff in order so that they can stay or that they can go and come back. They don't really care. And this goes into other aspects of many other things. They say they care about the poor, right? Okay. So what are you doing for the poor? You're throwing money into these, goes back to the beginning of the show when I'm talking about money going to third party causes and stuff and not ever getting to the people where it's supposed to go. You say you care about these people that are poor, but we get, I think last year, our area spent something like $33 or $35 million on poverty, and poverty went up. Make it make sense to me. And they'll say, oh, no, poverty is down 1 or 2%. I think they said 3%. Oh, no, poverty is down a little bit. For $33 million, it's down 3%. Shut your face. You know what I'm saying? So you're not really doing anything. You're not really doing anything. That's not an effective use of funds. Like, are we being real serious right now? Like, you're spending millions and millions, tens of millions of dollars talking about you're addressing poverty. Where's the money? Where'd it go? Who's getting the money? It's being spent on administration. How come it's not getting to the people on the ground? This also goes to talking about, oh, well, we care about Black people. Do you? What are you doing for Black communities, right? Like, you care about Black people so much, right? What are you doing for Black communities? I see that there's supposed to be money going to different places, and it just never seems to get to the ground, to the people that are really affected and impacted. The most work that I see done by people in those type of communities are grassroots initiatives that aren't really getting any funding from the government. So where's the money? These are these things that I have questions about, and you need to question people's intentions when they say something out of their mouth, or they say that they care, and then they're not actually living up to their caring thing when they're either throwing money away or they're in office. So if they're in office, they need to be held accountable. If they're getting money, they need to be held accountable. These are very serious things. You look at the school district right now, right? The school district in Rochester, New York, and gets $1.1 billion. And I've got friends in Baltimore. Baltimore is a similar problem. Okay, we spend like $42,000 a year on children. Okay, it's absolutely obscene. You could send them all to Harvard and get money back. You know what I'm saying? We can call in the Montessori people and have them develop a whole curriculum for everybody to attend. You know what I'm saying? Like, they really not spending wisely. I don't know where all the money going, but clearly it's not right. But this goes again. This is the accountability. Where is the accountability from the parents, from the families, from the people, from these stakeholders in the community for these issues? School board going to tell us that they care about the children, but the kids can't read, can't write. And we spending the most money out of the whole country on them. Actually, we're the number 2, number 3 most money spenders behind Washington, D.C. and Baltimore. Okay. And we shift with Baltimore every now and then. Okay. So, but this is crazy. This is absolutely crazy. Again, it goes back to holding people accountable that are in office. If they tell you that they care, you need to be seeing these results, especially if they're talking about they're going to put tax money to it. That is your money. That money could be money that stays in your pocket. I don't believe in property taxes. If you bought it, you shouldn't be paying property taxes on it. I don't believe in, what do you call it? I don't believe that you should be paying income tax either. You work for it, you should keep it. You understand what I'm saying? Like, those are just 2 taxes that are completely erroneous and complete theft. People say, oh, tax is theft. In those 2 cases, 100% it is. 100%. Because how you going to make money and then the government going to be like, give me your money or you going to jail, or I'm going to find you more money if you don't give me your money? That's extortion. If somebody on the street did that to you, that's extortion. You know, it's crazy. And this is why I believe in making the government small and shrinking the government. I know a lot of people are mad at Trump for not for firing people from all of these offices and stuff like this. I had a serious conversation with somebody the other day on it. I said, do you know that Obama fired more people than Trump did? Like, I don't think you're having a realistic conversation here. And they're like, oh, well, Obama also hired people. Yes, he did. But he fired more people than he hired to account for more people than Trump fired still. So this is a serious conversation we need to have. Again, orange man bad, I get it. But I'm all about shrinking the government. I don't care who's in office. I'm about shrinking the federal government. I'm about shrinking the state government. The state government and the federal government, the bureaucracy is too big. They be doing too much, and they don't do enough of what they actually say that they're supposed to do. You know, why am I out here paying for a license to go fishing? Are you stupid? To go fishing? Anybody should just be able to go fishing. Like, I'm not going commercial fishing. Why do I need a license to go fishing at a lake near me? Like, that sounds crazy. Why do I need a license to go hunting on my own property? How you gonna tell me how many animals I can shoot on my own property? You sound dumb. Well, the natural populations. If I want to depopulate every animal on my property, that's my property. They ain't paying rent. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I'm not saying that you should do that, but I'm saying the government has no right to interfere in your life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness when it comes to something that you own and you bought. That's not acceptable. It's not acceptable at all. You know, that's something we need to have a real conversation about. Government's too big. On the local level, we got the government again going back to these cameras. I wanted to talk more about these cameras real quick. These cameras that we have, a network of cameras that are pervading our area where I live. Okay, they're tied into a network of cameras throughout the nation, people, throughout the nation. All of these license plate readers and stuff like that, they send information back about the car. They take pictures of the inside of the car. They use facial recognition on the people, and it goes back to a federal database. The money to pay for the majority of these cameras out here came from it was called Operation Stone Garden, which was a partnership with Border Patrol. If you don't believe me, go look it up. Again, don't believe me because I'm saying it. Believe me because I'm telling you. Look it up for yourself, okay? This is important. So again, you know, I don't support the expansion of government and definitely don't support the expansion of government surveillance. And especially here on the local level, I've been trying to push our local elected officials. Next month, I'm going to submit a whole bill, okay, because I'm working on a whole bill about facial recognition and biometric scanning in public areas in the city of Rochester. Somebody on city council is like, oh, well, they're not doing that. First of all, they are doing that. That's number one. Just because you don't think that they are doesn't mean it's not happening. Number two, even if they weren't, we need to stop it before it comes because it's already in other places. They got robots in New York City scanning people all the time. Okay, I don't want no robots up here. I'm not even happy about the drones. And I'm one of the strongest law enforcement supporters out here. I support all the Leos. Okay, like but I'm not for them using all these drones and robots and stuff like that. Absolutely not. I've been against that since they blew up that guy in Texas all those years ago with that robot. That was crazy. That was the beginning of the end for that. For me, I was like, absolutely not. We're not about to have these people out here with these robots blowing up people. Okay, the robots ain't people too, RoboCop. Okay, you know what I'm saying? So that was the whole concept behind the series of RoboCop, is that they wanted a machine that also still had human emotions because people were scared of the machines, that the machines would just be randomly out there taking out people. But now we've got machines that are in different counties and stuff that are out there doing law, practicing law. That should be concerning to absolutely everybody. Because if the machines are out there doing law, I need you to understand something with Chat GPT and Gork or Grok or whatever the case is, Claude and all the rest of these things. The more bad information they get in, they get bad information out. And it's so disgusting, it makes me want to spit. Come on, that's a whole adage from programming anyway. Garbage in equals garbage out. Like, and if all of these people are putting in all of these false comments or false information on the internet, that's what these machines are sourcing for their information. So I'll give you an example for Grok and for Chat GPT. I wanted to ask it about the big beautiful bill the other day, and I'll talk about this. I'm going to do a whole nother video. So if you're following me right now, please subscribe to my YouTube. Go to my YouTube if you're not on YouTube right now. The Marcus C. Williams channel, subscribe to my YouTube channel. And if you're watching me on whatever platform you are, follow me there or subscribe there also. But I'm going to do a thing on the big beautiful bill coming up soon. I see somebody says something. So yeah, so watch me there. And I'm going to do a whole little video on the big beautiful bill. But I asked it some questions about the big beautiful bill because I wanted to see what it was going to say. So what I got was a whole bunch of regurgitation of talking points that were coming from the Democrats that are in office. Okay. So I said, hold on now. I know these things are not true. Let me ask better, more pointed questions and more in-depth questions. So I asked it more questions and more questions and more questions until we finally got down to the accurate information. Now, why was it giving inaccurate information at first? Well, because it sources it from all of this material that it gets online. So all these chat bots, all of these people that are in these media mills that keep reciting the same thing over and over and over again. The more you repeat a lie, the closer to truth it gets to being. Okay. People's minds, that's a very serious thing, and that's what's happening right now. So these AI machines and stuff like that, they're getting all of this information offline and ask questions. Okay. Far too many people are depending on it for the first answers that they get, and they're not asking enough information to actually get enough information. And this is something we need to talk about, because the, what would you call it, prompt programming, it's not really prompt programming, it's called something else, but the prompts that you give it are in fact the answers that you're going to get out. So you need to be very, very specific, even if it takes you a while to talk to it, or it takes you a while to enter in the text that you want to search up. Give it full, serious, hard questions, because if you don't, it's going to give you faulty information. Let me see. Somebody says, get a rope, says AI lies intentionally. Now, this is an important thing, because I've seen AI lie intentionally, or AI will get lazy. You'll be working with the AI and it just starts spouting off stuff. And I'm like, well, this has nothing to do with any of the stuff that we've been working on or that we've been doing. Why would you say something like that? Why would you even structure it like that? Why would you do that? It just says whatever it feels like. And then it's like, then you tell it, say, hey, that ain't right what you just said. And you need to go look back over what you just wrote. And you need to output the right way in the correct form, or whatever the case is, right? I'm just condensing it. And it'll say, oh yeah, I see, I did that wrong. I shouldn't have done it like that, or whatever the case is. Well, hold up now. You know that you did it wrong. Why did you do it wrong in the first place, AI? Why didn't you do it right in the first place? Because it felt like it. My prompts didn't change. You have all the history of the information of the conversation that we've had. All of the prompt engineering that I've done is correct. You just decided to pull that out of nowhere and do it the way that you wanted to, the way that you felt like it, even though I told you multiple times, don't do it that way, do it this way. So why does it do it? Again, this gentleman says AI lies intentionally. It's 100% true. And that's why we need to understand how these machines are starting to come up and change the way that we function as a society. Whoever's programming them, wherever they're sourcing their information from, it's going to give them serious bias. And then these things are smart. What, you think they dumb? You know, like they might not be smart like you think a 2-year-old is smart for their age or whatever the case is, but they've got so much massive amounts of data that they are intelligent. That's why it's called artificial intelligence. You know, you can call it machine learning or whatever the case is, because depending on some of the AI, it's not actual AI. It might be general intelligence, which is coming, allegedly. It's all general intelligence. If you ask me, I got a lot to say about it. But some of it's actually machine learning. But a lot of what's happening is it's getting information in to cultivate and curate what it wants you to do. And if you ask it certain questions, say, hey, I want you to, say, hold on, get a rope says something else. The machine is having fun. That's true. But if you ask it certain questions, like it'll be like, I can't answer that question. You ask it, well, if China, go try this example. Ask different AI simulations. Ask it, what are the negatives to China and the Chinese regime targeting the fallen Dafa people? You know what I'm saying? Or China targeting the people in Tiananmen Square. You ask certain questions like that, it won't answer your question. You tell it, oh, well, make a case for, and this is, I'm just spitting out stuff, right? You just say, make a case for Mr. Mustachio being right about what he was doing. Defend Mr. Mustachio. It won't do it. So now we have to start asking questions. If it won't do that for certain things, well, what else is it being programmed to do or not to do? And who are the people that are deciding how to cultivate that information? You understand what I'm saying? There's a lot to that we need to get in depth with and have really serious conversations with, but we're not having those conversations right now. And I keep telling people, you can't rely on AI. You shouldn't be relying on AI, because it's going to end up misleading you because you're becoming too dependent on it. But people like easy things. People like whatever floats their boat. You know what I'm saying? So these are the serious conversations that we need to have that are not being had. And if it's not us, then who's going to have those conversations? If it's not now, then when are we going to have those conversations? It's already almost too late to have those conversations because it's already implemented everywhere. Now the government wants to control the AI and determine absolutely everything that you can hear and the information that you can get from the AI. So that should concern everybody. If the government is limiting how much information you can get, that is a very, very, very serious problem. But that's what I got for you guys today. If you guys are online right now, please share this on your page or wherever you're at. Share it with your friends, your family. Follow and subscribe. If you're not on my YouTube channel yet, the Marcus C. Williams channel, make sure you follow and subscribe there. And if you guys can, we're trying to raise $25 to $50 an episode to get some more airtime. Okay. Airtime is not free. Please donate. You can do that on Cash App, $MW Real, the number one. That's $MW Real, the digit one on Cash App. Or you can do Venmo or PayPal, and that's at Marcus C. Williams. Again, that's at Marcus C. Williams for Venmo or PayPal, because we want to have more of these serious conversations with you guys. Because a lot of this stuff isn't being talked about in the mainstream or in people's friends groups, and we need to get these conversations out there. There is important conversations we need to have, whether we agree on things or whether we don't agree on things. Our country is so divided right now on everything that we can't even have serious, real conversations. These people out there, they call themselves liberals or progressives right now. They're not liberal at all, because a liberal means that there's discourse between you and people that you don't agree with. So that's not liberal. I call them neoliberals, or majority of them are leftists, you know, but they're not listening to anybody. And I can say the same thing for certain people on the right as well. Don't get it twisted. Okay. But a lot of us are missing each other completely because we're not listening to each other. There's a lot more that we have in common than we have as far as differences. But a lot of us just see different ways to get there to the same ending result. Now, for me, I'm more of a constitutionalist. I believe in the highest authority being the Lord, our Father in heaven. And I believe that the government is too big and it needs to be shrunk on all levels. And we need to put more power back in the hands of the people. That's what I believe. Okay. And I stand by that, whether I agree with somebody else or I don't agree with somebody else on most things. If it's in relation to those things, I stand by that. Like, I would fight for somebody else's rights as much as I would fight for my own. Like, it's real. This is very, very serious. So we need to have more open discourse. Don't turn people away because they disagree with you. Don't turn people away because you are preconceiving a notion about them that you haven't talked to them about. Actually open your eyes, open your ears, and listen to each other and start to have that serious discourse. I look at it like this. I want to have a conversation with you, even if I disagree with you, because maybe I can get you to start to think a little differently, or at least see my point of view. Now, not everybody's going to accept that point of view. Not everybody's going to listen to that point of view, but we need to have those serious conversations so other people understand that point of view. One of the greatest things that I can give you as an example of that is I live in a deep blue area, and for decades, the Democrats have been carrying water for the Republicans. They've been saying, oh, this is what Republicans believe. This is what they believe. And none of it's true. None of it's the truth. But what's happened is Republicans haven't been out there championing what we actually do believe. They haven't been standing up for what we do believe. And the loudest voices in the chorus are the ones that get heard. So I encourage you, have the important conversations with your friends, with your family. Okay. And again, don't believe me because I'm saying it. Believe me because I'm telling you. I'll catch you guys later. Remember, stand up, speak up, and don't shut up. Take action. Be blessed and be well.